Okay.
Inspector, around 8:45 p.m., you observed Mr. Watkins leaning against the lamppost, correct?
Yeah, I did.
And next you saw Mr. Watkins stagger as he headed towards the crosswalk.
Yeah.
In fact, you stated that Mr. Watkins staggered badly, correct?
Yeah, he was all over the place, tripping. Yeah, just didn't walk a straight line.
And you saw Mr. Watkins stumble in the center of the street?
Yes.
And as he approached the store, you saw him stumble again.
Yeah, stumbled a couple times, just didn't have any of his faculties in control.
And just before he entered the store, you saw him straighten himself up and take a pause.
Yeah, he did pause. It looked like he was just trying to collect himself so he could enter a store where.
And during this time that you observed Mr. Watkins outside, Mr. Jones was not present with him at any time outside.
No, he wasn't outside.
Let's move on to what you saw once Mr. Watkins straightened himself up and entered the store. After Mr. Watkins entered the store, your view was obstructed, correct?
Yeah, just by a few signs of little advertisements, but I could still see the two of them with their shoulders up. I could still see them pretty clearly.
And because of your obstructed view and your distance from the store, you couldn't see how far away from the counter either Mr. Watkins or Mr. Jones was standing, correct?
Not necessarily, but even if I was there, I didn't have a measuring tape, so I wasn't sure.
And you didn't see Mr. Watkins reach in his pocket to tender payment.
No, I didn't see any exchange, but I did see the two of them at that time.
And you didn't see Mr. Watkins, and you didn't see Mr. Jones open or close the cash register.
No, I couldn't see it from that vantage point. But
And you didn't see Mr. Jones swipe a credit card.
no.
Okay,
I didn't.
let's move on to when Mr. Watkins exits the store. Inspector Bureau, you and your partner detained Mr. Watkins once he exits the store, correct?
Yeah, we did detain him.
And you noticed his eyes were glassy.
Yeah, bloodshot.
You noticed his eyes were bloodshot. You noticed his speech was slurred.
Yeah.
And just to be clear, you've received training in relation to detecting signs of intoxicated persons, correct?
I did, yeah.
Okay, so
7 years.
Inspector Beer, you proceed to administer a field sobriety test, correct?
Yeah, I did.
And you asked Mr. Watkins to walk heel to toe in a straight line, and he failed this test, correct?
I did, pretty bad.
And then you administered another test, right?
I did. It's just protocol with the commission to, verify and make sure. So yeah, we did a second.
Okay, and this time you instructed Mr. Watkins to pick up coins from the sidewalk, correct?
That's correct.
And once again, Mr. Watkins failed this test.
Yeah.
And then you administered a third test, correct?
Again, just protocol. 3 is a good safe number and a good variety where it's, heel toe, nose touch, coins.
And
all that.
so for this third test, you asked Mr. Watkins to touch his finger to his nose.
Yes, I did.
And so even though you saw Mr. Watkins stumble on more than one occasion before entering the store, and even though you saw Mr. Watkins trip over himself before entering the store, you still didn't stop him at that point, correct?
No, as an investigator, you want to be sure, so you want to just verify. That's why I have my partner in all those tests.
Okay, and once Mr. Watkins exited the store, even though you smelled alcohol, you saw his bloodshot, glassy eyes, and you heard his slurred speech, you proceeded to administer 3 field sobriety tests, correct?
That's correct. Again, just want to make sure.
And even though Mr. Watkins failed the first sobriety test, you administered 2 more, which he failed both, before placing him under arrest, correct?
Yeah, again, just to verify.
Okay. Oh, we were done anyway. That was good. I didn't want to cut you off right at the mark because you were on such a roll.